All right, check this out. Last time we did React Court, we realized that every single post was horrible. They were all creative writing exercises, and every single one is like, first paragraph, I'm the asshole. Second paragraph, oh my God, am I the asshole? Third paragraph, horrible medical or psychological trauma that completely justifies the insane actions that they took in the first two paragraphs, and you don't even feel good reading it because you're like, I feel bad and this is fake. So now I'm on the real Am I the Asshole subreddit. I'm not on the filtered one, which is like the best writing prompts that 11th graders made when they should have been doing their calculus homework. Unfortunately, calculus is no longer look, we're not going to get into that. We could talk about the education system later. Now we're on Am I the Asshole, and I'm sorting by asshole. Like top this week only with the asshole flair. Because if you're not the asshole, I don't really care. I've realized. Also, I realized that the Am I the Asshole subreddit is designed badly. And I don't mean that to be rude, but it's not designed for what I want. Because when you sort by like top posts, the top posts are the people who are not the asshole because they get more upvotes because people are like sympathetic. The people who are the assholes get downvoted to oblivion because they're assholes. And as a result, they don't get sorted to the top. That's not what I want to see on this subreddit. The top posts are all like, am I the asshole for, my husband, 67M, and me, 19F, he yelled at me at dinner and called me a racial slur. And then that's like 50,000 upvotes. You don't need that. I know who the asshole is there. You can't get any kind of, banter there. You need something like this. I'm sorting by spicy. I don't like sorting by controversial though, because like controversial, my limited experience with sorting by controversial on Reddit is that you just get the highly downvoted comments to the top, which usually ends up giving you like, horrible stuff. Like people who are like just constantly talking about vaccine mandates, downvoted to like -70, even though the post has nothing to do with vaccines in the first place. So like I'd rather those comments stay near the bottom. If possible. I love those people. That's fine. Me too, in like a human, we're all in this same boat together sort of way. Like in a love your fellow man sort of way. Absolutely. Anyway, this first one, I mean, we sorted by spicy. Take a look. We found our unique spicy formula. Am I the asshole for making my daughter give up her dog? That's a pretty spicy title. Throw away because a few of my family members browse Reddit and I would rather the situation stay contained. My M45 daughter, F16, has a dog she bought a couple months ago. Her mother and I said she could get one as long as she took care of him, paid for everything he needed, and spent time with him. Okay, like, this is already, like, I don't want to say is not okay. His daughter's a fighter pilot, a fighter jet. His daughter's a damn F-16 Hornet. I don't know if it's a Hornet. All I know is the SR-71 is the Blackbird. I feel like, and maybe this is like perfect world situation, okay? I feel like you can get like your 8-year-old or your 10-year-old or your 12-year-old a dog. When you're buying your 16-year-old or you're allowing your 16-year-old daughter to get a dog, that's your dog. There's a lot of upheaval in a young person's life from 16 to like 25. You're moving a lot. You might go to college. You might spend a year abroad. Like you might spend 10 years abroad. So like that's your pet. This already is like that. I'm not saying the dad should have disallowed it. I'm simply saying he should at least recognize that, like, in forward-looking context, it's his dog, which is fine. You know, isn't that the way it always works? As a grumpy guy, maybe played by a Jack Nicholson type. I hate dogs. I hate dogs. Then all of a sudden he gets saddled with a dog. Maybe it's a dog of someone played by maybe Greg Kinnear or something like that. And then he's like, oh, I'm so grumpy. I hate this animal. But then he bonds with the animal and he's like, actually, I love dogs. Like, that's the way it's supposed to go. Anyway, she held up her end of the bargain for a while. Everything was working out the way it was supposed to. She potty trained him, took him on plenty of walks, paid for his vet bills and food, the whole 9 yards. Also, that's the other thing. Dogs kind of expensive. I mean, pets are expensive in general. It seems unrealistic to ask your 16-year-old to pay for every expense for the dog. Like, not just apparently purchasing the dog in the first place, but then also the vet bills and like the food and the like you could have like a part-time job just to pay for the dog, especially the vet. No wonder she doesn't have time for the dog. She's driving for Uber Eats, man. She works 20. Oh, there you go. Okay. However, after a couple of months, she got busier at school and work. She's a sophomore in high school and works part-time at a fast food chain. She works 25 to 30 hours a week and spends at least 2 hours on homework every night. Holy cow, man. I gotta be honest, this girl's busier than I am. That's almost a full work week, plus school, plus 2 hours of homework a night. My God. She's busy. Even though her dog never went in the house and seemed okay, I felt bad for him since she wasn't home as much as she used to be. Unfortunately, there's absolutely nothing that you could do to rectify the situation. I talked to her at first, telling her that he needed more attention. The dad is 45. I get he's probably busy. He's a busy time in a person's life. I do love that he sees a sad dog and is like, well, there's absolutely nothing I could do to rectify the situation. 15-minute walk, play with the dog a little bit. No, it's not my dog. It's my house, my rules. We signed the contract. It's like my 16-year-old doesn't know anything about tort law. I've raised countless dogs in my life, and I know what is needed for a healthy, obedient dog. I'm just unwilling to even put in the slightest effort for that right now. I was also worried she wouldn't be his alpha, which is absolutely necessary if she expected to take him with her when she moved out. I don't know what that means. Can a dog-pilled pet cell explain to me what your dog being someone's alpha is? It's a myth? Yeah, but what's the myth? It's an old-fashioned thing. I know what an alpha dog is. I've seen the movie with Emile Hirsch and Justin Timberlake and Ben Foster. But the dog needs to be seen as the pack leader. But how can he be the alpha to his owner? He's not pouring his own food into the bowl. I don't understand. It's the other way. Oh, he's worried the dog won't respect his daughter. Okay. Not to be the guy who saw James Acaster specials and then referenced them, but it reminds me of that James Acaster bit where he's like, I was at the club. Do you guys know what negging is? It's when you subtly insult someone to undermine your self-esteem and get them interested in you. And I don't want to brag, but these girls were negging me all night. The old Reddit switcheroo. +2. Don't +2 me. You just watch the specials. They're good. Okay, anyway. Things got better for a bit until the summer came and they were giving her more hours at work. Enough was enough and I put my foot down, insisting she give him up since she couldn't be bothered to make more time for him. She argued with me for a long time about it, eventually giving in and finding him a new owner. She goes straight to her room after work and refuses to talk to me. My wife is upset but hasn't really picked a side. So am I the asshole for making my daughter give her dog a new home? Edit, 30 hours of work a week is not that much, especially in the summer. Look, she's 16 years old, man. Sorry, you can't see the post. I apologize. I mean, it's yes and no. 30 hours a week is not that much, but it's a lot for a sophomore in high school when probably I don't know, 75% of her friends have just 2 or 3 months off for summer vacation. Like that's pretty. It's pretty serious. I'm not gonna pretend like look, I had the easiest job in the world before we had the baby. Maybe like 6, 7 years ago, I could work 60 hours a week. I'm recording Isaac episodes. It's not hard. I'm not gonna act like 30 hours a week is not a lot though. When you're slinging like hot chicken sandwiches out of the damn grill, and when I was six, I didn't even get my first job until I was 17. I worked 10 hours a week. I had 2 shifts a week. Like 30 hours is a lot, man. Even when I had summer jobs in university, I only worked 35 hours a week. I was like 19, 20. Not in 1920. I know you're going to think it was 1920 because I'm bald, but like I was 19 to 20 years old. But even still, I was like, exhausted on Friday. Anyway, I'm raising my daughter to be a responsible adult. She pays for the things she wants and needs. And if she needs help with money, I provide it for her. It's the summer. She isn't in school. She has no excuse not to spend more time with him. Edit 2. The dog was allowed in the house. I was saying it never went to the bathroom in the house. I did not abuse the dog, and I do not neglect my daughter. I am teaching her to be a responsible adult. Okay, I believe that he believes that he's teaching his daughter to be a responsible adult. At the same time, I think he also, I mean, just to be honest, I don't use this word lightly, and also I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist, but it seems like you traumatized your daughter by being like a hardline boomer about the idea that like she went back on her word very slightly for justifiable reasons because she got insanely busy as a 16-year-old kid, who's in the damn 10th grade. Like this is a very common recurring element in Am I the Asshole? And I apologize. I don't want to be sexist, but it's to my own gender, so I can do it. There's a lot of Am I the Asshole posts that are like 25 to 65-year-old men who are like, well, I understand the situation changed in a way that's completely understandable and was not predictable in the first place, but we had a deal, and the male code means that we shook on it, so we have like a rigid set of standards we've already agreed to, and if we don't adhere to it, I'm sorry, but you got to give up your best friend. Like there's no, and it's not an all men thing, but like some people just in general have no ability to compromise or to realize that like a deal that you made in January might not make as much sense in August when the world has changed. But anyway, let's see. Don't downvote assholes. Okay, I'm going to say that that's a mission failed from Reddit here. You're the asshole. You can't have it both ways. Making her take full responsibility for the dog, then forcing her to get rid of him. It's her dog or it's not. And from your own admission, it doesn't sound... I like this post because they used his own objectivism against him. If it's her dog, how can he make her give it up? You can't have your cake and eat it too. That's her dog from now on. You can't create like a states' rights situation and then also put a federal law on top of it when you don't like what the state does. It's intellectually inconsistent. You got to adhere to the terms of your own deal. The alpha stuff is also nonsense. Okay, that's chat told me that as well. She's going to resent you forever for this. Yeah, okay. Absolutely true. In my opinion. What the hell is Am I the Cloaca, by the way? Am I the asshole? Am I the asshole filtered? Am I the butt face? Am I the cloaca? I'm not going to have a look on camera. Like, I know what it is anatomically speaking. I just don't know what it is in the Reddit context. You're the asshole. A teenager who's in school full-time and working 25 to 30 hours a week part-time does not have the bandwidth to care for an animal. Let's look at it mathematically. So school is, let's say, 8 to 2, 5 days a week, but also, I mean, it's not really 8 to 2 because you got to get up at 6:15 to take a shower to then get on the bus and then you get on the bus on the way home, and it's another hour, and then you got 2 hours of homework a night. So she's probably like realistically, she's on the clock from like 7 until 5. So it's 10 hours. It's 50 hours a week of school if you factor in the homework and the travel as well, plus 30 to 35 hours a week of work. I mean, she's at like a 75, 80-hour work week, man. It's getting a little crazy. And I'm like running the numbers. What, there's 168 hours in a week or something like that? So half of that has already gone to school and work. A third of the total is gone due to sleep, realistically. And then you're like, well, she's only got like, what, 8 minutes a week to take care of the damn dog? And she's 16 years old? It's madness, man. This is the American dream. Okay, anyway, I think this one is just... I like starting with a cut and dry one like this. It makes it a little easier, Usually we save the controversy for 50 minutes in. Okay, and then even the sorting is not right, man. This is why is Reddit so bad? Top post of the week, 2.4 thousand upvotes. Second most popular post, 19 upvotes. Third most popular post, 330 upvotes. Here we go. I only want to see ones 450 plus, okay? Am I the asshole for demanding my fiance stop teaching our kids bad manners? Probably, I mean, I want to say no, but demanding is a very strong word, so I'm not totally sure. Hi, everyone. Using a throwaway. Yeah, we know, okay? This subreddit has been around for 10 years. It's not... everybody expects you to use a throwaway at this point. Nobody expects you to tie it to your default identity in meat space. That's crazy. My fiance Lola and I have been together for 5 years, engaged for a little over a year, and we have twins. Our wedding is in 2 months. Lola usually takes care of feeding the kids in the morning since I work early, so I never noticed this until recently. I took a week vacation from work just to spend time at home with my kids and Lola and started to notice something that bothered me. Lola has been teaching our kids bad table manners and sees nothing wrong with it. I hadn't noticed as they don't eat this type of food for lunch, dinner, or snacks or eat it all the time, so I guess I missed it. Okay, so it's a good preamble. What constitutes bad table manners? I think there's a lot. First off, your kids are 2.5, which is you got bigger fish to fry, I think. Here's bad table manners. Picking your nose at the table. Chewing with your mouth open or making a lot of noise when you're chewing deliberately, basically. Some people get a little crazy and they're I honestly, I can't fathom how small the problems in your life would have to be worried about having your elbows on the table. I don't understand why that's a thing. But can I tell you, by the way, one of the reasons I never joined the school band in high school is in 9th grade, I went on a one-day music retreat where we went to a campsite and played a concert at a nursing home and a concert at the campsite, okay? We ate dinner at the campsite. I'm in the 9th grade. Everybody else, more or less, that's there was they were already part of the school band. I'm eating. I'm enjoying the company of my friends. I have my elbows on the table. Everybody simultaneously breaks into I forget the way that it starts, but it's something, Ryan, if you're able, get your elbows off the table. This is not a livestock table. It's a first-class dining table. Walk your butt. Walk your butt. Walk. And then I was like, what does that mean? And then they're like, oh, you have to get up in front of everybody and spell your name out with your ass. Like you have to go to the front of the room and then spell your name like facing the opposite direction by moving your butt. And I was like, everybody was having a great time. And I was like, are you crazy? I'm not giving up nights and weekends for this shit. This is the most psychotic thing I've ever been a part of in my whole life. It was like the start of midsummer, man. I was clearly in a different a different culture, and I was fully immersed in it without having any sort of orientation whatsoever. Anyway, so that's why I never joined the band. One of the reasons. Regardless, this morning I was helping make Lola breakfast. I was helping Lola make breakfast. And then I got the kids ready while she brought their food out for them. As they were getting ready to eat, I noticed they didn't have forks or spoons, so I told Lola I would get them. She said there's no need. Okay. Lots of foods you eat with your hands. I watched instead, and she gave the kids tortillas that she ripped into pieces. They were using their bare hands to grab the food using pieces of the tortilla. I asked her what she was doing. We should be giving them utensils, but she seemed shocked that I was concerned and said that's how they always eat it. Yeah. I don't even want to stop reading because I don't understand what's wrong with it. How are you supposed to use a fork or like a spoon or a combination to use a tortilla to I guess you could, but like why? Like could you cut a piece off the tortilla, use the knife to put some filling on top of it and then eat it? Yeah, but why? I don't understand. It's just, I mean, I don't, it just seems like a tortilla is the wrong hill to die on here. This is a very hand-based food. I told her she was teaching them bad manners and making them think it was okay to just grab food with their hands. She told me they do that anyway when they have chips or grapes or tacos or pizza and listed a bunch of other snacks and fast food you eat without utensils. Okay, so my wife owned me. Am I the asshole? When I complained about something idiotic, my wife brought up 17 examples of foods we eat all the time that I don't have a problem with. But those foods, though, are American. Like a burger, dude, a burger. You want me to use a fork and a knife to grab a burger? Are you crazy? It's a burger. A taco? Yeah, that's fork and knife, man. You don't want to touch the tortilla with your bare hands. I pointed out those things are usually made to be eaten quickly or on the road, so utensils aren't needed. This is just an insane goalpost move to me. She said I was being offensive by calling her way of eating gross and saying it was bad manners, but I do think it's gross to see someone grabbing at food with their bare hands like that. On the other hand, eating a hamburger while driving, even though you're still touching the food with your hands, not gross. Even though you probably haven't washed your hands in 2 hours, no big deal. It's only gross when you do it at home right after you've washed your hands in your bathroom sink. She said she grew up eating like that and would always use tortillas to eat things like eggs or meat rice beans, and that it wasn't gross because she always made the kids wash their hands. I ended up giving my kids forks for them to eat. Okay, healthiest relationship spotted. They didn't want to use, which made me even more frustrated with her because now they're used to this. Lola has been really annoyed the rest of the day and wouldn't let me help with lunch, and earlier she was walking around the house speaking to someone, probably her sister, in Spanish about me, and I'm starting to feel a bit annoyed. It's so good, man. He doesn't speak Spanish, because then he would probably know who she's talking to, but she's talking about him. I can relate to that. Usually it's not bad stuff, but sometimes I'll be like, looking at my phone while I'm eating dinner with my in-laws, because I mean, like, I'm on year 10 of this stuff, right? Like, at some point you just gotta tap out and do the doom scroll, and I'll hear like Korean speaking and then Ryan, and then Korean speaking and then Ryan, and then I'm like, but then I know I can pick up enough Korean that I can usually figure out what she's talking about, and then I laugh when the punchline comes in, at least. I don't pretend to know the whole thing, but I'm like, I get the gist of it. Wow, lots of replies quickly. They seem to be mixed so far, but I will add the kids can use utensils and use them on foods like soups, pastas, etc. What is it? It's not like even that the kids are young, so they have to use their hands. I mean, I have a 2 year old, essentially. She's not quite two, but she's close enough. But like, she uses her hands to eat pasta sometimes because she's young. But at the same time, I recognize that ideally in the future, she'll use a fork or a spoon. You know, she'll use appropriate utensils just so her hands and face don't get so messy. But like, this is a food that's designed for hand-based consumption. Like the only thing you gain out of using a fork and a knife or a spoon to do it is that you got more dishes and it's probably going to take you longer to eat. Like it's just bad. It's not a sensible opinion to have. Yeah, you know, this is a good point. The tortilla is the utensil. It's basically like it's a corn glove. Well, maybe that's not the maybe glove is not the way you think of it, but all the dudes' replies are super racist, by the way. Okay, well let's go take a look at that then. So yeah, you're the asshole. He's probably heavily downvoted if I had to guess. So we probably won't even see them. You're the asshole. It's very common to use a tortilla as the utensil. You're being insensitive to her culture. Not just insensitive, but like, I don't know, like, it just doesn't make any sense. Fundamentally, I'm mostly just like, you're the asshole and I'm confused. Why do you want your kids to use a fork to eat something with a tortilla? It doesn't make any sense. Like, I've actually fully don't understand. I think he's just mad and he's trying to find a source for his madness, but actually he's just mad. I think he has some built up resentment and it bubbled to the surface at the most frictionless possible moment, which was this, where he felt like he had a leg to stand on, but actually doesn't. You're the asshole? Yes. Okay, absolutely. Sure. I'm kind of sad you have kids, yet you know so little about them and how they develop. They are not 10, but 2. All 2-year-olds eat with their hands. Hold on, I didn't scroll down enough for you. Also, like, there's like a simple rule of parenting, I think. If you got like a good routine with your kids, or if your spouse has a good routine with the kids, why fuck it up? Like, it's already, I'm not saying it's the hardest job in the world, but it's like, it's hard enough. Probably took like months to get to the point you got a stable eating routine, and you're like, hey, let me get in here and cause some problems for no reason. Show his replies? I don't want to validate him. Also, I don't know how to do that. That's the main reason. You're the asshole. This is how 2-year-olds eat. You don't need a fork for a tortilla. Very true. It's at the top of the comment section. Elsa voice, I can hear you, but I won't. It is. It's just I don't want to click on his replies and have him have like a racial slur pop up or something like that. I'll let the downvotes hide it so that I already know I don't like the guy. I don't need to. You ever hear the expression, "'Tis better to appear a fool than to open one's mouth and remove all doubt"? That's kind of where I'm at with this guy, except replace fool with, I don't know, possibly, I don't know, bad person. You're the asshole. Your casual racism towards your wife is going to affect your kids. Yeah, okay, I mean, okay. I understand why everybody's calling him a little racist. However, I wish more people would also focus on the fact that his argument just doesn't make sense to begin with. I understand why the racism thing is bubbling to the surface, but I wish more people would talk about how it doesn't make sense to eat a tortilla with a fork and a knife to begin with. Maybe he's a germaphobe? Yeah, but he said he doesn't mind eating fast food in his car. Am I the asshole for telling my girlfriend to stop meal planning? Oh no. It's edit at the top, man. The whole post is just edits. There's an edit at the top. There's 3 edits at the bottom, and the whole thing is only 2 paragraphs. No, this is a new one. This. I swear to you, this is a new one. It's posted 2 days ago. We did have one similar, but I believe that was the boyfriend was mad because it took 5 minutes to plan their meals for the week. But he's not the kind of person on a Sunday who knows what he wants to eat on a Thursday, because mommy's special little boy gets to pick at 5:45 what he's going to eat at 6 every day of the week, even though he's 28 years old. I remember that one. That one still lives in my brain. That's like somehow you got to be an adult, but you're like, my day is ruined if I don't get to choose what to eat for dinner on the exact like time of dinner every day. Oh man, sorry, I had to let the blood pressure come down a little bit. Whew. What about the classic, I let my stepson almost die so that he could learn his lesson? Yes, the most sensible home gym owner who let his stepson think that he was going to die because he didn't want his stepson using his gym. See, that's what could happen to you if you use the gym without my supervision. That's also what could happen to you if you use the gym with my supervision, as demonstrated by my behavior right now. The other one, there's been a lot of classics, like I borrowed $3 from my sister to order pizza and then paid her back before she got home, and she won't talk to me anymore. And I'm like, it's $3, or they paid it back. But then some people were like, it's the principal. That's my property. Explain the pizza one. They needed $3 to tip the pizza delivery guy. Nobody had any cash except there was a little cash in his sister's room. So he took the $3 from his sister's room, then paid her back the next day, and she was like pissed. She would not talk to him because it was a violation of like her privacy for him to take the $3. Okay, Turkish Santa versus Greek Santa was also good. Anyway. All right, am I the asshole for telling my girlfriend to stop meal planning? We'll start with the edit. Edit, please stop commenting that my girlfriend has an eating disorder. She does not. If you do it, I will probably block you. But I'm not 100% confident. It depends on the contents of your message. I don't care if you've had an eating disorder. This is one situation. It's not possible to say someone has an eating disorder over one situation you weren't even there to witness. My dumb assery sent her to a high-intensity practice with no food in her body. I don't know what is going on. It's written like a Johnny Truant passage from House of Leaves. Like, what's happening? We're starting at the damn end. That's not cool, and I'm sure all of you would be upset as well. She is not rigid with her food. She doesn't have time to cook, so meal prepping makes sure she can eat to meet her caloric goals and nutritional needs to stay healthy. Her team meets with a dietitian to make sure they're eating the calories they need to. Well, then why are you telling her to stop meal prepping? I don't understand. She needs to meal prep to get her nutritional needs, but the title is, am I the asshole for getting her to stop meal prepping? I know it sounds bad, but hear me out. My girlfriend Charlotte is really big into fitness. She always played sports as a kid and is now playing volleyball in college. She also goes to the gym 6 days a week. Because of this, she likes to meal prep for the week to make sure she gets her macros. I don't know if you've heard about this stuff. Just a couple hours ago, she went into the fridge and suddenly became very frantic because I'd eaten her overnight oats. I think that's what they are called. I didn't realize they were part of her meal prep. I thought the oatmeal fairy just blessed us and put some food in the fridge that was for me to eat without asking for it. I thought just some benevolent donator came by and put some food in the fridge that was for me because I live here. So blessed. LeBron James Instagram photo. Can't believe this my life. I didn't realize they were a part of her meal prep because she never made them before and didn't say anything. What was she thinking? Usually her meal preps are several of the same meal, but there was only one oatmeal container, so I thought it wasn't hers. But like, okay, I think I'm missing some context. Whose was it that? Do you have like roommates? If it's not hers, then whose would it be if you didn't make it? Like, you didn't make it, so it's not yours either. I don't understand. Can you just admit, like, what, instead of writing this insane sentence that falls apart under the slightest bit of scrutiny, why not just be like, I'm an adult, I made a mistake and ate her food because it looked good and it was a moment of weakness or whatever? That doesn't make you a bad person, it happens. I don't understand why you like trying to come up with some form of justification that's like, oh, normally when she makes food, there's a lot of it, but there wasn't that much here, so I just ate it even though I didn't make it. It just doesn't make any sense. I'm trying to put myself in this guy's shoes. Like, it's not ingredients, it's food. It's not like there was some strawberries in the fridge and he ate a couple. Like, this is like a meal. You ate a meal out of the fridge. This is the guy that is in your office, so they had to make those bags that have like a mold pattern on them so that it looks like it's a moldy sandwich, but actually the sandwich inside is good. You just had to put some form of deterrence on it so that people didn't steal it from you. Maybe he thought he made it and forgot. Maybe that's the only thing. Hey, did I make these overnight oats? I don't know. Maybe. It doesn't seem like a thing that my fiance would do or my girlfriend, so yeah, it was probably me. Even though I have no memory of doing it, that just doesn't seem like something she would do. This is crazy. She went off about how inconsiderate I was being because she didn't have time to cook in the morning because of her schedule. That seems completely fair. I immediately apologized for eating it, even though, clearly based on this post, he doesn't really see that he did that much wrong. I mean, you think he knows that he did it wrong, but he's like, hey, there's justification for it. Have you considered that the container was not as big as the normal meal prep containers you make, and thus I didn't think it was for you? I thought it was for anybody. It was a first come, first serve situation. I know that it was super crappy, and I genuinely had no idea. I just want to talk to him for a second and be like, what do you mean you had no idea? How did you think the food got in the fridge? I don't understand. Much like this is the last post, but like on steroids, where I'm like, I didn't understand why that guy wanted to use a fork to eat a tortilla. This one, I'm like, I just don't understand. It doesn't make any sense. After apologizing, I said maybe she should stop meal prepping if not getting one of her meals throws her off that much. I'm sorry to say, this is rude. This is some of the dumbest shit I've ever read in my life. You apply this to anything? Oh, if you need insulin so bad, maybe you should stop taking it. What doesn't make any sense? Maybe you should stop meal prepping if me stealing your food makes it so you can't eat your meal. She got angry and said that I wouldn't understand since I don't play a sport. Here's the thing. I don't think it has anything to do with a sport, but I do think that she's right that he wouldn't understand based on the reasoning skills that were on display throughout the rest of the post. Then she left. She usually texts me when she gets to her location safely, but hasn't said anything since our argument. Am I the asshole? She just texted me she wants to talk after practice. She just got home from practice and we talked. She apologized at snapping at me over an accident, but it's like she's not in the wrong at all. You should always try to be nice to people, but she didn't do anything wrong. It's not an accident. I mean, I'm not naive enough to think that like you could never eat someone's food that they wanted to eat. You know, you get hungry, you're tired, you're like, maybe she forgot about it or something like that. I'm not saying there's any good reasons, but like, and you should just ask in the first place. But then to like be offended that you got called out and thus go, maybe you should stop meal prepping if you need food so bad. Like he should apologize. She just got pissed in the heat of the moment, but asked me not to touch any of her meal prep food without asking, especially before practice, because her foods are important to keeping her physically fit and her energy high. Yeah, no shit. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, why is he typing this? Like, everybody reading this has to know this, right? She said that not keeping to her nutritional goals can cause potential injuries. She said if I want the food she preps, I need to ask her to make me some while she's prepping on Sundays. I feel like I should include this in my post because many people don't read all the comments. Yes, I apologize profusely. I ordered pink-lidded containers on Amazon to make sure this doesn't happen again. It doesn't, what are you talking about? You don't need a new system. If you didn't make the food, you know is not for you to eat without asking at least. Like, what's wrong? The system didn't fail you. You just ate someone else's food. I don't understand why is this a debate? I'm not even, look, I get why you're focusing on the pink stuff, okay? I'm just saying, like, it much like the last one, I'm like, the central problem here is so insane to me that I just don't get it. If you didn't make the food, you don't need a special container. Can't you look into your memory and be like, did I make this paella? If you didn't make the paella, then don't eat the paella. Also, the man's eating like overnight oats at night. They're called overnight oats. I mean, that's only like a minor slice of the problem, but anyway, we're both laughing over it now. She started calling me the oatmeal bandit. I love her. She's so crazy. You're insane. This is the most insane post I've ever read on Am I the Asshole? You stole her food, tried to gaslight the internet into thinking that there was any plausible reason to do it. It doesn't, I don't think it makes you a bad person necessarily. It's just, it doesn't make any sense. He must be so hot. Of course you're the asshole. You knew for sure you hadn't prepared it and it wasn't yours. Instead of saying, my bad, your solution is to tell her to stop meal prepping. What? Just don't eat things you didn't cook. Holy cow. It's like literally what I took 3,000 words to say in like 50 words. Then they go too far and they say other things about how we would steal stuff from the work fridge. I'm not comfortable saying that again, but you're the asshole? I thought it wasn't hers. Did you make it? Then whose did you think it was if not hers? It's so good. I love it. You're the asshole. Did you think the oat fairy prepped the overnight oats? Okay, I'm learning I'm not as clever as I thought I was. I'm glad that for once everybody is like baffled by the fact that this guy is trying to argue like he didn't know it was hers, so he thought it was his. Info, how is the solution for this to stop meal prepping and not for you to just ask before you eat something? Usually info is like how old is the poster? This one is the info is an own. You're the asshole? You knew it wasn't yours? I'd say the reasonable next step is to ask her to label her meals, but asking her to stop entirely? Why? I mean, labeling the meals I think is even too far, but like they're implicitly labeled because he didn't make them. I don't understand. I just don't get it. The label is you didn't make that shit. That's the label. There was only one oatmeal. I will read 25 of these. There's one oatmeal container, so I thought it wasn't hers. What the fuck? You knew it wasn't yours. You're the asshole. Maybe a ghost left it there. I love this, man. Usually her meal preps are several of the same meal, but there was only one container, so I thought it wasn't hers. Whose food did you think you ate and left without a meal instead? And why would that have been okay? Oh, man. That's fun. I'm not saying bullying is fun, but I'm not bullying. I'm simply asking this person questions to figure out how stupid they are. I'm simply using the Socratic method to figure out how stupid they are. It's called a debate. I love the mother-in-law post. The start of this is unparsable. It's incomprehensible. Am I the asshole for giving my mother-in-law a gift with strings attached and then refusing to let her to pay me back? I don't fully understand the post. All the in-law am I the assholes end up being classics too. There's always something ridiculous like, am I the asshole for exiling my mother-in-law from the family because she wore the dress I wanted to wear to the spring semi-formal to our cocktail garden party? Like, it's always like 9-figure net worth problems that don't make any sense to normal people. Mother-in-law and I got off to a rough start, but I'm currently pregnant and would love to put that behind us. I heard mother-in-law talking about wanting to see a touring musical that was going to be in town, but she didn't find out until the last minute and couldn't get tickets. My friend's dad manages the theater, and I figured I could get her 2 tickets. They have some reserved VIP and handicap seats, and if they aren't sold out the night of, he will sometimes let me know. Sometimes let someone he knows use them. Okay, very reasonable preamble. I got her 2 seats, but I asked that she not bring her boyfriend. Okay, now you've crossed over in less than one sentence. You've crossed over into insane territory. Why do so many people online do this? It's like, there's like a cultural sickness, man, that people are like, they can't just do something nice. They're like, if I do something nice for you, you gotta do something for me in receiving the gift. Keep reading, he's terrible. Okay, sure. Maybe I'll hear her out. Hear her out. Okay. He's been a huge asshole to me. He makes fun of my husband and I constantly. He's videotaped us fighting and shown people. And he at one point had a group chat where he was telling his friends about our issues. He claims he can't help himself because it is so funny and he is addicted. At this point, I don't even want to be around the man. He smirks when we speak, and I couldn't stand the thought of my gift going to him anyway. Holy cow. It's so funny. This is kind of hilarious, though. Like, not good, but kind of hilarious. But this is a situation where you don't give your mother-in-law a gift. You can't reconcile with just one half of a couple. Especially in a marriage situation. I'm not saying they have to do everything together, but in terms of like their diplomacy, they're a unit. They probably tell each other everything. Even the things they said that were between, just the person that told them in the first place and them. There's no way, you can't cleave it. It's uncleavable. At least in this context. It gets even more crazy. Even more crazy than the guy filming them fighting and sharing the video and saying he can't stop because it's so funny. Mother-in-law said that was kind of weird, but he doesn't like musicals, so it's fine. Well, my friend works at the theater as an usher and mentioned seeing mother-in-law's boyfriend. My friend didn't know about the deal, but just wanted to mention how hot this guy was. Ew, ew, ew. And I immediately felt betrayed. I called mother-in-law and asked her about it. Mother-in-law told me that I was being weirdly controlling, that she doesn't have friends. She kind of does, but her only close friend recently confessed being in love with her, so I get that she didn't want to hang out one-on-one with him, and that she thought her boyfriend would actually like it because it wasn't as girly as most shows. They definitely saw Hamilton, man. There's no doubt. I tried telling her how hurt I was, but she snapped at me that it was a rude gift anyway. At this point, I was done and just didn't want to talk to her. I needed space because I was so hurt, but she recently approached me at a family dinner, got all pissy. She said she calculated what tickets cost and wanted to pay me back so I would shut up. LOL, I wasn't even talking to her. But I refused to take the money, so she ended up throwing it on the floor and leaving it there. I left the money when I left, so hey, her parents made a profit off family dinner. The family is really torn about who's in the wrong here. Okay, I mean, maybe this is the controversial one. I don't think this is everybody sucks here. And give me a moment here to plead my case, okay? The mother-in-law sounds like she's married to a total dickhead. But you can't expect her to be receptive to a comment like, hey, your husband's a dickhead. Boyfriend. Okay, your boyfriend's a dickhead. Don't bring him to the play. You can't do, that's a ridiculous statement. I'm trying to figure out how to elucidate it further, but it's like a parent thing. You know, you can have opinions about your friend's parents, your spouse's parents, but you only go to the level of vitriol that they go to because they're so much more closely related. So, like, if your mother-in-law's boyfriend is an asshole, you can only, with her, go to the level of shade that she goes to. In fact, you might even have to go one step back from that. You can never be the person that is the aggressor in, like, admonishing the partner of a friend or a family member. You always have to be, like, at their level or slightly below. That's all I'm saying. So I don't think you can give someone a gift and then add a string attached that's like, hey, we both know your boyfriend's an asshole, so please don't bring him because I hate him. I think in that situation, you either don't give the gift or you accept that she's probably going to take her boyfriend and you just say, that's fine because I'm doing a nice thing for you anyway, and I'm just going to, suck it up. You can't separate the two. Or just give one ticket. I mean, now we're getting into these are first world problems. At this point, if someone gave me like a ticket, let me put it, if someone gave Kate one ticket to a play, I would be like, what the fuck? Like I would maybe not take immediate offense, but I would be like, what's going on with that? Like, I know this person and they said, hey, my dad works at the theater. Sorry, he could only get you one ticket with an empty seat next to you. Yeah, so? I don't know, it's weird. It's a violation of standard operating procedure for relationships. Yeah, married couples count as one person, like how corporations count as people now. Common NL bad take? I don't know. I'm just like, it just doesn't seem. I know they're not married. I'm just saying they're old. When you're old and you have a boyfriend, you're married, okay? If you're in your 20s, you can have a boyfriend or you can have a husband. If you're 45, I'm sorry, the person you're dating is your husband. That's just the way it works, okay? It's like how all cats are girls and all dogs are boys. My grandma's like 75. If she was like, this is my boyfriend, Sven, I would be like, in my head, I'd be like, that's my new step granddad. Come on, you're old. I'm not saying you couldn't break up at some point, but you're basically married. You're so old that anybody you date, you're married to by default. That's how it works, man. They're not married. I know they're married by default because they're old, okay? Unless she's got two boyfriends. Then she's got two boyfriends. And maybe one husband. But I don't know. That's her business. Quite frankly. Anyway, I don't know. I mean, in this situation, the mother-in-law might suck for dating a huge asshole, but I don't think anything she did in this situation points to her having done anything wrong. I mean, she did lie to the person who gave her the ticket, but I don't think it's an asshole move to disobey a ridiculous command. I think if somebody gives you a gift with a string attached and it sounds like, you know, if I was being arrested and the police officer said, put your hands behind your back, I would do it. If he said, you know, sing your favorite song from Sesame Street, I would be like, over my dead body. You don't have the right. There's no lack of morality in disobeying an insane request that shouldn't have been offered in the first place. I don't think she's the asshole for throwing the money on the ground. I mean, I think honestly the OP is mad that the mother-in-law got one over on her. She wanted a gift in the gift bank, but she didn't want to pay the true cost, which was giving joy to somebody that she didn't like. Justifiably so. So then she refused to take the payment back because she's like, no, we can't be even. I want you to forever be in my debt so I can like resent you or call it back later. And then the mother-in-law said, fuck that. She threw the money. And then rather than pick up the money, which is your prerogative, not just because you bought her the gift in the first place, but because it's on someone else's floor. You said, no, I'm not owned, and you left the money there for the family to clean up and now be in possession of like maybe a couple $100 that they don't know what to do with. They're not going to feel comfortable spending it. Now they probably just got like a little pile of cash on their end table or something like that, where they're like, I don't know if I'm supposed to spend it because it belongs to like two different people and nobody simultaneously. Like it's just a horrible situation. It's just idiotic and petty. Anyway, I don't know. I feel like OP's the asshole. I also feel like the mother-in-law is an asshole probably, but not for anything in this post, which is how we judge that. That's my 2 cents. Firm, you're the asshole. You gave your mother-in-law 2 tickets. If you didn't want her to invite her BF, you should have just given her 1 ticket, based and chat pilled. Yeah, why you know what? What about 2 tickets, but you go with your mother-in-law? Or 2 tickets and her son goes with his mother? Like that's a much more sensible solution than 1 ticket or 2 tickets. You can choose whoever you want to go with, but it can't be this one person that you're closest to. Be like, hey, I got you and my husband tickets to see this musical. And what's your husband going to say? Well, it's his mother that introduced it to you. Anyway, you're the asshole. If you were giving the gift to improve the relationship, this wasn't the way to go about it. Probably something she understands now, if I had to guess. You're the asshole. You can't give someone 2 tickets for themselves and demand them to not give it to someone. A gift is a gift. Why do you even care? You should expect them to take their partner. If you didn't want her to bring her boyfriend, you shouldn't have gotten them the tickets. Even later, when she understood you didn't want your money and she wanted to pay you back, you refused. You are being exhausting, to be honest. Just an incredible... being told that you're exhausting is actually like the adult version of hearing from your parents that they're not mad, they're just disappointed in you. Like if I was having an argument with somebody and they said you're being exhausting, I would be like, oh, I just lost the argument instantly. That hurts. Ooh. Hello.
Hi.
What was that? She said hey and hi at the same time. She went, hoi. Am I the asshole for making fun of how my wife said hi to me? Me, 71M, and my wife, 19F. By the way, I don't know if this is relevant, but sometimes she eats food with her hands. I only eat food with the designated fork that I'm... am I the asshole for making fun of my wife for using her salad fork to eat her entree? Wow, this is a thorny one. Okay, honestly, this is exhausting. Get hid. You're the asshole. Oh, whoa, dude, look at this. Info. This you? Oh, damn, nice work. Mother-in-law troll. Good job collecting so many of the mother-in-law troll posts. I don't even want to read Am I the Asshole because they're almost always made up. Yo, get audited, dude. I love that. Well, anyway, I'm glad we wasted a bunch of our time on that fake creative writing prompt. But hey, even here's the thing. Just because it's fiction, I still feel like you can get something out of it. I mean, I only read nonfiction books and watch documentaries because there's just so much beauty in the real world that I'm curious about. But after that happened, I'm like, you know what? I realized the value of fiction because we still discuss things that are relevant to the real world, even if this unique situation didn't actually happen in vivo. Am I the asshole for saying I told you so at my sister-in-law and brother's wedding? I see an edit. I see that the edit says Facebook in it. I'm good to go. It's perfect. Man who enjoys every MCU film only watches documentaries. Excuse me, I did not enjoy Black Widow. Okay? Don't slander me. No one did? Yeah. 7 out of 10? Come on. Don't be... It's better than The Gray Man, but like... Anyway, let's get going here. I, 27F, have known 4 sister-in-law for 3 years. She's the type of person that always needs to be right and needs to be in charge of everything. She's very demanding as well. Can I tell you, just from this sentence, I actually already like her more than the OP. My sister-in-law's family members are very disrespectful and rude. They don't clean up after themselves, expect everyone to act like maids or servants around them, and they think very highly of themselves. They can never be wrong and think that they can do no wrong. Because of this, my sister-in-law's family doesn't really punish their kids. Like, they have no consequences. They aren't even the gentle parenting type either. My sister-in-law's sister... Okay, I understand. That's a genuine relationship. Sister-in-law's sister. But wait, isn't your sister-in-law's sister your wife's sister? Or your husband's sister? Not always. It's just some lady. We got to come up with better names for these, man. No, that would be another sister-in-law. But yeah, isn't a sister-in-law's... Okay, oh, no. No, because if you... Your wife's sister is your sister-in-law. Wait, yeah, it totally would be okay. I'm sorry. I need to see the Mendelian Punnett square for this one to understand. Your brother's wife's sister? Ah, okay, I got it. All right, yeah. See, this is what happens when you don't grow up with siblings. All this stuff that's probably like common knowledge, it's part of the vernacular for people that grew up with siblings. This is my 18th cousin twice removed. Oh, I know exactly what that means. I don't know any of that. I know, the furthest down the family tree that I understand is actually cousin. My cousin had a child. I have no idea what that child is in relation to me. I genuinely have no idea. Is that a second cousin? That's a second cousin? How do they get removed? Is it when that baby marries someone, their spouse would be my second cousin once removed? That person would be a stranger. Well, like my cousin is basically a stranger to me. Her child is a complete stranger. I mean, at what point did this... Like, I don't think there should be a second cousin. I think that's just a guy. Like, that's no longer part of my family, I'm sorry to say. And I'm not harboring any ill will towards them, but that's just a person. My cousin's child is not part of my family. That's just, that's a stranger, man. What do we share? Like 6.25% of our DNA or something like that? I probably share more DNA with the average like Cavendish banana. Isn't that like 80%? I'm comparing two different. Ironically, I'm comparing apples to oranges. I guess pun intended. Anyway, I'm not like they're literally part of my family, but they're also literally a stranger. Is actually 6.25. I know. I have an undergrad in biology. I'm very well versed in doing back of the napkin math, where you divide 100 by 2 x number of times. That's basically, I mean, they make you do that on stage before they give you your degree. Sorry, I'm being exhausting. Okay, here we go. Sorry. He throws tantrums. This is my sister-in-law's son. He throws tantrums if he doesn't get something, and he has to be the center of attention 24/7. When there are birthdays, he needs a gift or opens the gifts and needs to blow out candles. It's frustrating, which is why I'm not usually around at family gatherings and other stuff. Okay, so this little kid lives rent-free in your brain, and you don't see your family because he's annoying to you, and somehow he's in the wrong here, even though you're the adult. I was my sister-in-law I was at my sister-in-law's, presumably, since her friend canceled on her, and I was helping make invitations. I saw one of the names was sister-in-law's nephew. I asked if she wanted him to go, and she said yeah. She then asked why, so I told her why. I talked about the tantrums and how he'll probably throw a fit during the reception and other stuff. She got mad and said she didn't know what I was talking about. She told my family and her sister, which caused her sister to write me a message saying how I was wrong and other stuff like that. Well, the day of the wedding comes. Everyone comes in happy except my nephew. He's crying and is about to throw a fit. When my sister-in-law came out, he literally started screaming. The poor pastor had to stop and wait for the parents to leave. During the after party, he was back again and crying. When they were cutting the cake, he screamed extremely loud. He pushed my sister-in-law, who was holding a glass of wine, and spilled on her. She started crying. She turned around to leave, and I looked at her and said, "I told you so." She started crying even more now. Oh, man. There's never a good time for "I told you so." There's, like... It feels great. So maybe it's worth doing sometimes, but you do have to accept that you pay a cost. You pay a social cost, and you probably gain some adrenaline. Sometimes that's a fair trade. When I got home, my mom called me extremely immature and wants me to apologize. So am I the asshole? When I went on Facebook, I saw a long post from sister-in-law's sister, basically saying that sister-in-law knew how her nephew was and how if she didn't want him to throw a tantrum, she should have never invited them. She also called sister-in-law selfish, saying she should have offered nephew to cut the cake with her. Sister-in-law's family also agreed and called sister-in-law selfish. I went over to sister-in-law. So she told me I was right and how I should never have invited him. I still apologize, though, because I did kick her while she was down. I offered to pay to get her wedding dress clean, but she said that was fine. I'm going to hit you with my once a day, who cares? It's just not that big of a deal. So it's like someone who, a 9-year-old in your extended family who you're probably going to see like 4 more times over the course of your entire life is annoying. Okay. That's your alarm going off. Time to get ready for work again. Like, it doesn't affect anything. Just it's not that big of a deal. It just doesn't. I mean, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. It's exhausting. This post is a little exhausting. Also, there were so many sister-in-law, sisters, nephews that I don't even know how far out we are here. Like, who the hell is your sister-in-law, sister's nephew? I could not tell you who that kid's parents are. Are you the child's parents of your sister-in-law, sister's nephew? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. I just don't think it's that big of a deal. Silas. It's a sister-in-law's nephew? It's your kid. Your sister-in-law's nephew is your kid. Is this like the his mom was the doctor? Is it one of those? Is it a prank? It's the son of the sister-in-law's sister? What the hell? Are they even related to this kid at all? I don't understand. Am I the asshole? Okay, we're not touching that one. Am I the asshole for wanting to spend time with my daughter? Flair, asshole. Okay, let's check that out. 2 edits, good start. Oh, man. Sister-in-law's sister's nephew. Sister-in-law's sister's nephew. I'm still trying to puzzle this out in my head. Sister-in-law's sister's nephew? Husband's brother's wife's sister's kid? What the hell? Husband's brother's sister's wife's kid? The husband's brother's sister's wife is your husband's sister? I don't get it, man. I gotta see the Punnett square. I can't do this math in my head. I gotta open up MS Paint, man. Make it stop. My daughter was asked to move out of the house at 18 due to some conflict between her and her dad. I had no say in the decision. Okay, what? What are you talking about? This is a little tragic, but at the same time, I'm like, what do you mean you had no say in the situation? You had no say in whether or not your daughter got kicked out of the house? Is your husband a Redditor? My husband felt like we raised her well enough so she could take care of herself, and he also didn't pay her college tuition like he was supposed to. She ended up postponing going to school for a year so she can save some money. But okay, maybe this is an ex-husband situation. If there's still, but then I'm not touching this yet. I get stun locked too easily. She went to school on the other side of the country and never reached out to any of us. And when she does, it's because she wants something from us. Okay, this standard operating procedure for an 18-year-old that's been kicked out of the house. What do you think? 6 months later, she's going to call you and be like, hey, guys, just wanted to check in. How's that house you kicked me out of doing? Her dad was very upset and turned her away every time she asked us for something. A few months ago, she reached out about how she can't make rent and she really needed a place to stay for the summer. I talked to my husband and practically begged him. So they're not divorced. So I'm like, I'm a little mad at the mom. Like, because it sounds like the husband is an asshole a little bit. But like, why does she keep saying she has no control in the situation? You got to put some pressure on it. You got to, if he starts playing hardball like that, you got to start subtly undermining the household. Keep reading, keep going. I'm just like, I mean, she's not playing. If her husband's going to be a little Frank Underwood, she's got to be a little Claire Underwood. They got to be like on the same team, but maybe they both have some secret objectives. Like you got to, especially when it comes to your child, you got to promote their interest. She's not playing Game of Thrones. She's catering the Red Wedding. She's like, there's nothing I could do. I knew about the plan in advance, but there's nothing I could do. By the way, here's some poison pheasant. It's been a while since I've seen it. Regardless, I talked to my husband, begged him. We found out later she lied to us about not being able to afford a place to live, and she was living with her boyfriend, who's more than twice her age, and he kicked her out. Her dad was very furious about the situation, but we decided we are going to let her stay with us for the summer. That's big of you. Let me just say, maybe why you would not kick your child out of the house at 18 if you were going to get mad they made mistakes. Their brain's not fully developed yet. They're a child still. They're not like 11. I expect them to look both ways when they cross the street, but they're still like a kid. I don't know if it's a cultural thing, which is me saying I'm not American. But I don't think in 2022 you can kick your kid out of the house at 18. In 1950, sure. I guess it's kind of like the way it went down back then, but With the way the world is now, just economically, it just seems like you're setting your kid up for like a really hard road. If you have the means, at least, like it just seems like you're not setting them up for success. Like, how is an 18-year-old supposed to afford to live alone? it's, they supposed to be like a senior software developer so they can afford a one-bedroom apartment in Kansas City? I don't get it. And pay for college as well? Largest +2 you've ever received? Love it. I'll take it. He said my city name. He said my city name. He knows my city's name? Anyway, what? She's since been back home. She got a job, but she's barely in the house. I've been trying so hard to start conversations with her, but she always finds a way to end them before we even start with "I don't know" or "I have a headache." I try my best to get her involved in activities she used to enjoy when she used to live with us, but she always turned them down. A few days ago, I asked her to go somewhere with me. She ended up screaming at me. She asked me if I'm not catching the hint that she doesn't want to be around me and she's only here because she has nowhere else to go. She said I should carry on with my life like I did when she wasn't around and that I'm an asshole for invading her personal space. All I wanted to do was for us to have some mother-daughter time, so am I the asshole? I want to make it clear, she's not missing the opportunity to have an education. She took out some student loans and she's going to school. I also failed to mention her dad is helping her out with tuition next semester. Allegedly speaking, source... So, Dr. Manhattan image source, I made it up. Source, because I said so. And she's still being indifferent towards us, even when we're making an effort to help her after that, 1 year period where we didn't make an effort to help her at all. After reading some of the comments, I realized I made a mistake and didn't realize the pain that I caused to my daughter. I will be apologizing and talk to her dad about how we can help her with her student loans. Bad parents. Sorry. I think, I'm not the parent of a 18-year-old. I'm sure, it's tough, it's different. But like there's a fine line between teaching your kids personal responsibility by allowing them to face consequences for their actions and forcing them out into a world that they're woefully unprepared for without, the protective infrastructure that allows them to make mistakes without having catastrophic consequences. So like, I mean, I don't know. Honestly, it sounds like your dad idolizes Cold War America in the 1950s and has this weird idea in his head, like Michael Douglas in Falling Down, where, when kids on their 18th birthday, they get kicked out of the house and then they get like a job as a cashier working 20 hours a week and they get an apartment. And then after like 18 months of living in that apartment, they get the money for a down payment on a house and then they get out. And then by the time they're 22, they got 4 kids. But I don't think we live in that world anymore. I think your dad, his favorite movie, without a doubt, is Grease, and he's living in a fictional world right now, and he made a very large parenting mistake. That's how it sounds to me. It sounds like I completely understand why your daughter resents you, and I think you should work to repair the relationship. That's my 2 cents as someone who's ignorant. At least she recognizes like that she did something wrong. I don't think we need to read the comments. They're just going to make us feel bad. Am I the asshole for not letting my mom use my computer when she needs to do an assignment for her master's degree? Come on, man. Like I'm trying to see like why. It's only a 7 upvotes, right? It's not like it's a big post, but like I just need to see what, like, this is crazy, man. She needs to use a certain software and her current computer doesn't let her download the software. I see. Okay, the kid is 16. Still, I gotta read it. I, 16, told her she could use my brother's computer, he's 12, not mine, because I have a ton of tabs open for stuff I'm working on. Your mom's getting a master's degree, kid. I don't know if that line's gonna work. She said she doesn't want to because he'd get mad at her and I wouldn't. She's not the one who bought me the computer. My dad did. And when I asked her to get me a computer 4 years ago, she said she wouldn't. However, my brother, who is 12, has broken 3 computers in the past 2 years and she gets him a replacement every time. I just really don't want her using my computer because she doesn't wash her hands when she does anything and her workplace is really gross. Not to mention, whatever software she's going to download will probably lag my computer. Why I could be the asshole. My brother is actively playing games, whereas I'm not actively using my computer at the moment, and she needs a computer at some point in the next 3 days, or she'll fail her assignment. Am I the asshole? It's my property, and when I told her no, she kept saying how I'm a bad person. It's so funny. It's actually just really hilarious. I have a ton of tabs open for stuff I'm working on. I'm not actively using my computer at the moment. So which is it? You're the asshole. Just let her use the computer. This is where I wish I had the soundboard. Hit the one that's like, oh, oh. I'm not reading the update. Apparently it's on Instagram. I think this kid's trying to kickstart his influencer career. He can put the update in the Reddit if he wants me to read it, okay? I know you're young, but you're the asshole. I mean, dude, I don't know. Like, again, I do understand the kid's point of view to some extent, and I've been on the other side of that. But as the parent, I'm like, well, you know, I paid for everything in your life for 16 years, and you're not going to let me use your computer for 2 hours so I can get a master's degree and make our life better? All right. Like, maybe you shouldn't call your kid, like, a bad person, but, like, I think you should be like, sorry, I'm taking possession of your computer. Please read the update. It's not on Instagram. Okay, hold on. I'm getting the update. Kind of? I don't understand. When I clicked on the update, it took me to the only comment in the thread where someone agreed with him. That's it. Like, that's the... I don't understand. That's the only one he read? I just don't understand how that's an update. It's not an update. Read it? Well, just say, like, instead of like, hey, let your mom use the laptop, the post just says, hey, if your brother won't let your mom use his laptop, then your mom needs to be a better mom to him. And you're like, okay, fucking maybe that's true. As we all know, if you were just a good parent, your 12-year-old wouldn't be an asshole. You know? 12-year-olds notoriously very empathetic to the people around them. Also, how does that help me get my master's assignment done? That's a very long-term solution to a very acute problem. I guess I'll get in my time machine and raise the child a little differently so that in 10 years I can ask him to use his computer to type up an assignment for 90 minutes. Some of these, man, I don't know. Am I the asshole for not following the school supply standards for my children? Okay. Let's see. We got 20 minutes left. Probably. Automatic, yes. I don't even know the premise. What are the school supply standards? Like, they were only supposed to get their kid, like, pens and pencils, and then their kid shows up with an iPad or something? I gotta read it. I gotta know. They got the #1 pencils. But the Scantron won't be able to read it, man, if they use a #1 pencil. How are the standardized tests for the kindergartners supposed to get graded if the Scantron can't figure it out? Hold on, our screen region's a little bit messed up here. Oh, and now I am a boomer. Now I've accidentally clicked to the left of the screen, which apparently on Reddit is, you meant to use the back button, right? And I'm like, what the hell? Boomer, boomer, boomer. I, 35 male, have 2 children, 9M and 5M. My littlest one is going into kindergarten. I was so excited to properly include him in our school shopping routine. He's always tagged along with his brother and gotten his own arts and crafts stuff to use at home, of course, but there's a new layer of excitement this year. All right, cute and wholesome. We always allow independence and choices as long as it doesn't become inconvenient. For example, if my kid picks out the 120 count crayons, we might redirect him to the 96 count instead, since it's easier to carry around in his backpack. Your 5-year-old doesn't need 96 crayons, man. That's too much. That's ridiculous. They need like 16 crayons at most. That covers like the rainbow and all the semitones. You know, you got the whole thing. Anyway, other than practicality, we don't try to persuade them in any way. This is not smart. Like I understand what the dad is. The dad, if you're not a parent, the dad is hitting you with some subtext early. He's hitting you with a signal, and the signaling is he's Montessori pilled, which is fine, but he lets his kids do whatever they want. And if they suggest something really dumb, he's like, no, what if we do the second dumbest thing instead? I'm not saying you should be like, no, you get 4 crayons. Like, that's it. I'm just saying, you know, I think you could provide a little bit more guidance than that. But that's it. There's a large difference in philosophy there. Other than practical, okay, wait, we read it. It's always a fun experience and a great way to kick off the school year and to relive some of those, oh God, my baby's leaving me fears for my husband and I with our 5-year-old. Can I say something else that's a value judgment? I think it's just a little, and it's not a big problem. He's devoted a lot of text to how much he loves shopping for school supplies. That just seems like a little bit like more than I would expect for an adult. Doesn't have to be a chore, but like the fact that he's getting so much enjoyment out of it. Because you know what, and I'm going back in time now. I show up to school with the Buffalo pencil case. I got like the little pencil sharpener. I got, you know, some lined paper. And I got the binders where you have to go, and then the fucking rings snap open. And obviously, if you pinch your finger when you close the ring, you're going to lose it. But they open with so much force that just the ring popping open can actually draw blood if your hand is in the wrong spot. And then you look to the person next to you, and it's probably somebody named Elizabeth, who is, 6 inches taller than you in the 7th grade. And she's got a 5-star binder for every single school subject, even though you're in middle school. And then she's got her pencils, like, this is the number 2 pencil, this is my pen, this is my gel pen, this is my, and I'm like, this is that kid growing up who I've got to ask for a pencil because I forgot to bring one. And then they go, just make sure you give it back. I'm gonna give it back. I'm not out here in the habit of stealing pencils from my classmates. Like I don't get any value out of that. Anyway, we usually grab quite a few items on the teacher's wish list as well and make a point to wrap it up nicely as a little thank you present from our children to the educator that will be spending the year with them. This year, upon receiving the school supplies list, there is a note made at the top that all supplies should be exactly as listed on the sheet, such as a 24-pack of crayons. Excuse me, is this a Lascaux cave painting? How am I supposed to weave a fresco with a mere 24 crayons? It doesn't seem possible. But 96 crayons for a 5-year-old is actually so funny, too. Have you ever seen a 5-year-old draw? Like they could accomplish the same thing with 2 crayons. I had 96 at 5 STFU. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's exhausting. Hello, Cobalt, by the way. Hello, Cobalt. Welcome, welcome. Cobalt, how many crayons do you think is too many for a 5-year-old to go to kindergarten with? Would you say the number is over or under 96? If you had to pick a number out of thin air, an adequate amount of crayons for a 5-year-old to take to school without being, ridiculous, would your number be over or under 120? Anyway, this was confusing for me as I buy the items specifically for my children. I decided I was going through with our supply shopping tradition as normal, never getting anything less than what was required, of course, and send a note with both of my boys that their items would be their own and could be kept in their backpacks as usual. When I expressed this sentiment to those around me, aside from my husband, they weren't very receptive to the idea. Am I the asshole for not following the rules listed? It's just, why are you getting in your own way, I guess? It's just kind of weird. I agree. I mean, I'm straddling 2 lines here because I'm a parent, but I've also been a teacher. And when you're like a teacher, if you have to manage a class of 35-year-olds, I'm sure you devised a system that makes it as convenient as possible so you don't have to focus on minutia like who's got is the right crayon box in their backpack. You probably just want to keep it on the damn shelf so when it's arts and crafts time, you can just, drag them all out and nobody's going to cry because they didn't get the right box, right? But instead, you got one dad who's like, I know that you designed this system, but I think I know how it should work better than that. And now is even more exhausting because you got to deal with the dad as well. So yeah, I think you're kind of the asshole, honestly. Like, why don't you just buy the list? Like, the teacher's job is already hard. You really think that they designed the school supply lists to like antagonize you? You think they don't have bigger problems in their lives? It's kind of just like a weird battle to pick, quite frankly. I don't understand. I mean, like if you bought more supplies than necessary and said that the whole class can share them, sure. I don't think they would say there's anything wrong with that. If you buy more supplies than necessary and say we're opting out of the communal school supplies, what are you doing? I don't understand. You got pre-read? Okay, well, let's check it out. I'm 100% open and now intend to buy extra school supplies to send with each of my children for those whose families can't afford to purchase them. My kiddos also... Yeah, okay, so like I understand also that maybe there was like a cap on the school supplies to not make people with less money feel like they have to overspend in order to keep up with the Joneses. That makes a lot of sense, but also like why are you... I just don't understand why you're picking the battle in the first place. Like, why don't you just adhere to the letter that they gave you because it's kindergarten? Like, who cares? It just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, why? Like, do you have no problems in your life? I get that this is for petty grievances, but at the same time, like, here's what I want. I want you to make a follow-up post. It's like how I got to be 35 years old with 2 kids, and the biggest thing going on in my life right now is like I'm having a feud with a kindergarten teacher over school supplies. You haven't had simultaneous salmonella and campylobacter infections recently, clearly. You haven't done colonoscopy prep recently. Am I the asshole for helping my wife take her father to the emergency room and then rolling my eyes when he told me that they said wait anywhere, so he went home and missed his appointment? Like I feel like I'm just wondering what's going on in your life that this is taking up so much space. You're the asshole for the reasons others have mentioned. 14 years in public schools, you don't want to start the year being that parent. You just don't. Most classrooms I was in, extra items were simply sent home or not used. May I suggest you could set up a homework station at home with some of the off-list items your kiddos would like. I know who this parent is. Not really. Like, I don't know who they are, but every class had 3 of this person. You know, the kind of like kid that's unreasonably organized for a 12-year-old. I didn't realize that that carried through into adulthood as well. It was me. I was unreasonably messy as a 12-year-old. Or I don't know, maybe reasonably messy, honestly. OMG, he does. I've been loving the Daddy Pig photoshops, by the way. There, finally, it's a number 2 post, so maybe it's not finally. From a teacher, you're the asshole. Especially if items are going to be shared. You're trying to individualize supplies for your kids. It makes it harder on the teacher when they have 25 plus more kids like yours to manage in the classroom. Shared supplies also create a sense of accountability. What you're doing is teaching your kids it's okay to not follow directions. Following directions is one of the biggest problems with kids in school right now. Yes, good. BernieSanders.png. Yes. I couldn't agree. Like here, it's the thing. Apologies. I already talked about the Campylobacter, the colonoscopy. Let's bring it back to the cruise. It's the same thing except with adults that we went through when we were disembarking from the damn cruise ship. There's 3,500 people trying to get off of this damn, floating apartment building. 1 in 10 people was like, I know that they've designed the system to maximize throughput, but I'm just going to fuck around and break the rules because I think I know better than the staff. And that makes it take longer, not only for them, but for absolutely everybody that is behind them in the line as well. Hey, we only called people with Pluto luggage tags. Oh, I'd like to get off the boat. What's your luggage tag? Mickey Mouse? Well, we only called Pluto. I don't understand why I can't get off the boat. It's because they got the luggage is coming off in a specific order, so they let the people go, and then they can pick up their luggage, and then they got more space with the luggage, then they can put out the new tags, and then it's actually faster for everybody to just follow the system. But instead, this guy's like, oh, the system's not perfect for me. Yeah, that's because it's a compromise, because you got 30 kids in your damn kindergarten classroom. You got to... You know how exhausted you are after looking after like 2 kids all day? Okay, look after 25 strangers' kids in a big room where they're all running around with each other for 8 hours for 9 months a year. And then, oh, it's Tuesday, time to do finger painting. Try to get 25 damn kids to wash their hands. Oh, Jeremy's dad sends him with the special Tom's of Maine soap. Because he doesn't use Dial. They're not a Dial household. Okay, like, honestly, you have to live with other people in society. Just get over it. Like, you're not that special. Sorry to say. You're not that cool. Like, everybody's got to wipe their ass with the 1-ply toilet paper for 15 years, okay? It's a shared trauma that allows us to bond as generations. We could probably do one more. What the hell is this? Am I the asshole for not wanting a med school student to watch my doctor perform a rectoscope on me? Can somebody tell me, is a rectoscope a real thing? Or is this a rare colonoscopy post? You would know. It's my my alt account by user/deleted 5 days ago. 5 days ago? Ah, I'm safe. No, I'm not. My colonoscopy was 6 days ago. Oh shit. I had opportunity. What do I need now? I need motive and intent. Holy cow, this is like, it's perfect timing, man. We got him, boys. Rectoscope. Pardon me. Long story short, my doctor told me, I don't live in the U.S. I don't live in the U.S., man. I don't remember making this post, but this doesn't seem like the kind of post my wife would make. So it must be for me. Long story short, my doctor told me 29M. I'm 29M in many ways. That she will perform a rectoscope to see if I really have hemorrhoids or something else. It was already embarrassing to discuss my medical issue in front of a bunch of medical students and ask questions too. Look, it's your prerogative. It's your right. I promise you that they do not care. Every single one of these students is going to watch like 12 people die in their career. They don't care about your butthole. They're probably just really tired. Like they're probably just like, man, I hope this guy stops being so weird about his asshole so we can get lunch on time today. So I don't have to eat a ham sandwich over the bathroom garbage can on the way to my next assignment. Anyway, I didn't mind it so much until the next part. She got me into the exam room, and with her there was a student, medical training with her. My doctor told me to get in the position, get my pants off, and literally show her my asshole to insert the thing. I was like in front of her, and she said yes. It threw me off because I never expected this to happen. I told her I'm not going to do this until she gets out of the room. The student told me she's just here to observe and ask questions so she learns. I told her that it's cute. What? Nice try, sweetheart. I know you're just trying to get a glance at this sweet, juicy peach I got here. Cute excuse, honey. Where I come from, we call this sexual harassment. What is he talking? That's cute. But I'm not going to do it in front of her. She needs to get out. I got in a small fight with the doctor and the student, both insisting it's okay for her to be there and trying to convince me, but eventually the doctor gave up and agreed. After finishing my visit, the student confronted me and made me know she didn't like the way I spoke to her. That seems totally fair. If you said it's cute. I spoke to her and that there's no shame in medicine. She's only there for learning. I told her off and that I don't want her to see me naked. She called me an asshole and left. Am I the asshole? Okay. This might surprise you. I don't think you're the asshole for not wanting the medical student to be in there. I think that's your right as a patient. And you probably could guess this based on the amount that I've talked about this, but like, I'm open about my medical procedure. I mean, if they want to have the room packed for the colonoscopy, what do I care? 6 people are seeing a camera be shoved up my asshole. Why not make it 20? Why not make it 100? What do I care? But I think it's your right to be like, no, only the doctor. But the way he talked about it was like, was very rude. I think that makes him an asshole. Edit. I want to say that I went to a medical school hospital, not a normal hospital. This might be relevant. Okay, you're the asshole. Are you stupid? Is this the same guy who he ate his girlfriend's overnight oats? Because he thought she didn't make them and thus he must have? Yeah, that's dumb. If you go to like a barber college, you can't be mad that like a student might want to watch you get your hair cut. It doesn't make any sense. Like it's nonsensical. I retract my not the asshole. Again, here's the thing. I think you should have the right to be like, no, the medical student can't watch you shove a camera up my butt. I'm not comfortable with that. I'm comfortable with that because at that point, I'm like, I got bigger problems, like the camera going up my butt. I'm not going to let like a little speed bump screw up the whole road trip, right? And you know what? Maybe they'll become a better gastroenterologist as a result. But the way he talked to the medical student seemed very rude, which makes him an asshole. I'm finding it hard to believe that a doctor wouldn't ask and that any medical staff wouldn't take obvious patient discomfort into a factor. So this is what's called the straw man argument. They've chosen the weakest argument of someone that disagrees with them, and then they're going to argue against it in order to make their own point seem stronger. I'm so sorry you found that unbelievable, but unfortunately, I can assure you it did happen to me yesterday, and it was unbelievable to me too. I thought I was the asshole because maybe I prevented her a chance to learn. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, I find it hard to believe as well, but simultaneously, like, I also find it hard to believe that you went to a medical university hospital and then we're like, no medical students, please. Update. Thank you for the kind words. I know that this post is tagged as asshole, but it seems most comments are saying not the asshole, so don't worry. I know now that we won big. Jay Beesman, thank you for the gifted subscriptions. Thank you. It's looking like I'm not the asshole. As far as I'm concerned, I'm not the asshole. I'm also going to tell you I only went to the hospital because my doctor works there now and told me to go there for a checkup every Thursday. Once a week? I also live in Egypt. Sorry for not answering these questions early. I didn't open my account until now. I will also try to report the student for. I lost my place. I will also try to report the student like many people here are telling me to. It will be a disaster if somebody like this becomes a doctor. What the hell are you talking about? You kind of like, based on your own verbiage in the post, you kind of verbally abused her, which means you, in real life, you were probably way more rude than even your post would make you seem to be. And she didn't say, hey, I really want to see your butthole. She said, hey, I didn't like the way you talked to me, which is completely valid. Oh my God. Literally, they're just, I mean, I'm sorry. They're just looking at your butt. Why are you being so weird? Doesn't make you any less of a man. Again, I think he's within his rights to say, I only want the doctor to be in the room. I just don't know why he's making it such a big deal that like he was being a kind of a dickhead about it. And then the student was like, you're being a dickhead. And then he's like, I'm about to ruin this girl's whole career. Also, the post says asshole, but he's like, thank you for telling me I'm not the asshole. You're the asshole because of your edit. Everybody sucks here in light of the edit. Not the asshole. Okay, well, I'm not going to read this because it makes my point weaker. Med student here, not the asshole. Traitor. Not the asshole. Edit. Everybody sucks here. Edit. Not the asshole. I don't respect a flip-flopper. All right. Anyway. He better never go to Talladega. Absolutely true. Am I the asshole for suing the Talladega audience for constantly yelling, show me your butthole? We got sketty, we got beer. We're getting fucking nuts.